Welcome back to the Empowered to Lead podcast. I am Lisa Catallo, your host, and I'm joined again today by Alison Maratos. And one of the reasons why we decided to chat again, even though we just chatted last week, is to have a bit of a real talk about what it is to be a group practice owner, and also to share that Alison is going to be joining me in the Group Practice Network, and more specifically to start in Group Practice Connection, and wanted to talk about why and what that's going to look like and what our hopes and dreams are for that as we're supporting you as a group practice owner, as the leader of your business. One of the things I have been doing, Group Practice Network, or Your Practice Your Way, it's had a couple of different names. It's had a bunch of different formats, or the ways that I've been providing support for, I think it's 8 years now, and juggling all the things. So group practice owner, group practice coach, a therapist, I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm like juggling all of these roles. And as I've been doing that, one of the things that I love about the Group Practice Network and supporting Canadian group practice owners is that entrepreneur mindset, the growth mindset that so many people that I work with have, and really wanting to put more time and energy into supporting you in a real way. So this role that we have is not for the faint of heart. It's not passive income. And I don't think for a lot of us, it's like, okay, today you're getting started, and in 3 months, you're going to be making a shitload of money. It's one of the terms that we used earlier, Alison, when we were talking, was like a long game. And in some ways, that's annoying term. But there is a lot of this is like, okay, we just need to keep putting our feet to the pavement and making that work. And it can be exhausting at times. And there can be times when it's like, well, I'm just going to get rid of it all and be a private practice again, because I don't know if this is worth it. And so I want to be supporting you. I want to help you get through those hard times. And that, as I'm juggling all the things in my life, that means how do I focus in more to be able to do that? I can't do it all. And so Alison is going to be one of the people who's going to be joining me and helping to serve you and to support you in those roles. So we thought there's no formatted questions today. There's no like, this is exactly how the conversation is going to go. We just thought we would share a bit from our heart. And also just want to, before we get started on that, the heart behind what we're providing in Group Practice Network is also the heart behind why I'm doing Empowered to Lead. I want you to know, as a therapist who's considering group practice, or you've started one, or you've got a really big one, I want you to know that you're not alone, and that we get the difficult times. We celebrate with the fun and accomplishments that we each have as group practice owners, and just to have real talk and present the real side of group practice ownership. So let's talk about Group Practice Connection. We haven't said how this is going to go. So I'm like, okay, so where do we start?
It's real.
It's real. Why is it important for you to join me in doing this? Let's start with that.
Oh, so many reasons. So just to give people background, I know it was on another episode, but Coleswood's version. I've been a therapist for many years and a group practice owner through ups and downs. I've also done some coaching, do some coaching with fellow therapists, and building resources through the Practice Companion, which is my company for that purpose. But one thing I have learned over the past several years is that juggling a lot of balls in the air is exhausting. And when you have shiny object syndrome or a brain that spins with ideas, it can become overwhelming really quickly. All of it. And I am a mother and a business owner as well. And you don't want to lose yourself in all that, which I think many people can probably relate to. It's a full-time gig, just not losing yourself through all of this. So one of the reasons I wanted to join, Lisa and I've talked about joining forces on things for a really long time. But like any normal, smart, somewhat experienced businesswomen with, partnerships, it's scary to trust someone else, to work with someone else, share ideas and just vision, but also, be able to work together and collaborate. So we decided it was time to do that because we both have shared the feeling that we're doing a lot of things, but some days you just don't feel like you're doing any of them well, which is a very heavy feeling on your bad days. So we thought about what's important to us. And I think I can share with both of us, Lisa, obviously our families and personal life and having time for care for ourselves, because if that's not working, none of it's working. But we also want to do both in the professional side, own practices where we are therapists in the practice, but also work with our colleagues because we both have said, times of, okay, I got to pick one. We've just decided that we don't want to. So the only way we can do that is to work together, to share the load of, you guys know, right? Some days things implode in your practice and you have to put energy there when you had a day filled with doing something else. So we want to be able to tag team each other and work collaboratively, and two heads are better than one. So that's kind of why we decided we needed to stop feeling like we were, again, doing a lot of things and not feeling like we were getting ahead. We're both impatient. Probably most people listening are. And we want to, really bring forward the messaging and the things that are important to us to share with our colleagues, because if nothing else, I have learned that I have gotten through the GPO journey. I'm not done it. I'm in it by having other people who get it. And the only other people I have found who truly get it are other GPOs.
Yeah. Yeah. And also one of the things that we've gone back and forth off and on, do we join forces? How would that look? And I think one of the things that has really solidified it this time is just recognizing that energy output that you're talking about, but also how do you play off each other's strengths? And so when we're talking to group practice owners and you have a established practice, and then it's time to bring on leadership or support or admin, and it can be really scary to hand over some of those things. And at the same time, recognizing where are you good and where aren't you good? Where do you need some support in order to make things happen? And I think some of the things that we both have strengths in play off of that, while also I've got my own experiences, you've got yours. You can relate differently to different people who come and are looking for support through group practice network too. We can talk about something, have an idea, and we'll get off a call, and half an hour later, Alison's like, here's the material. It looks beautiful and encompasses everything that we talked about. And that is not my strength. And I think also just your history. You've been doing this a lot longer than I have. You've seen a lot, as a therapist, and seen a lot of change and different ways of doing therapy across Canada, and just your heart behind all of that. Let's talk about what group practice connection looks like. Why are we doing this? And how it looks for people who maybe don't know what support looks like here.
Connection is the word. I think that really I want to underline being a part of this. Like I said, it's been such a valuable piece of the journey. I'll be real. Some days I cry. Some days Lisa and I cry together. Some days I go on Indeed and I look for a job. Because I just think that might be something that would be easier, even though I know it would be different, and probably it wouldn't fill my cup. But those moments where you're just like, why am I doing this? I want other therapists to know, because this is the other piece, therapist, right? We work day in, day out, supporting people in coming up with solutions, becoming self-aware. We love to see our clients' successes, but I always say, like, applying all that to my own life is gross. Like, we know it's not easy. So being able to work with other therapists and also really be real, because I think there's a lot of noise out there in the coaching space, in, the money-making space. You will learn that I am a pretty straight shooter. I don't want to sugarcoat or make false promises. And I think when you are connected with people who know that you don't have a magic wand, who know that you struggle just as much or maybe more than they do, and normalizing the experience for those of us who are helpers. I want to be there to help the helper, but part of that is through being authentic and, sharing what I have learned on my road. But it's not going to be the same. But how do you feel as a GPO connected? Because I think we can all relate to those really lonely moments of, why am I even doing this?
I think one of the things that I've appreciated the most, or maybe not the most, but a high thing that I've appreciated both in connecting with you, but also group practice owners, is like, all of us have a different personality. We all have a different way of doing a group practice. And while there is like the foundation of systems and processes and ways of doing that, we all are going to do that different. But at the heart of it is we all have the same kind of goals and vision and reasons or commitment to doing this. And we have different strengths that we're bringing to the table. So somebody in our community might be struggling with boundaries with their team, and another person is really strong on that. When you have connection and you've got that peer support, hearing somebody else and how they're making that happen or also struggling with that, then I'm not alone in this.
Right. And just like even talking about how you've done something and made mistakes, like kind of, you see in Facebook groups all the time, like, how am I going to let an associate go? It's not working. My boundaries have been crossed far too many times. Just to have people in your corner to share what worked, what even like the language used or the timing of the messaging, to knowing that the next time you see them, they're going to say, how did it go? So the accountability partnerships is also good, because I need to say things out loud a lot of times to Lisa, and then she'll say, how did it go? And when I don't do it, like 3 days later, I know she's going to ask me how it went. So I really want to do it, because I just don't like to say I didn't do it. And I know she's not going to judge me, but it's the power, right? It's like people come to therapy. They say things out loud to us because it's been in their head and their heart. And that's what I think is the most important piece as a GPO of turning toward your peers, is to say, have someone say, I get it. And I know this is hard, but I know you can do it.
Yeah. So some of the ways that we provide that in Group Practice Connection, specifically in the membership, there's like a bunch of resources and templates. There are calls that we have, and we'll walk through what each of those are. There's coaching available through there. And a lot of the reason why there's different things available is because you work differently. Each of us have different needs, different personality in the ways that we learn. And one of the things that we have talked about is like wanting to provide value, but not overwhelm. So even as we're talking about some of these options, to know that these are available for you to get value from, to choose what you want to participate in and how you want to participate. It's not like, okay, here's all the demands on your time, and you have to show up for these things. Okay, so maybe this month, this one works for you, and next month you need something else. So all of those options. So one of the, we have 3 calls a month, and they're structured to meet different personalities, different needs. One of them is called Leadership Lounge. And that really is like, come and ask your questions. That's not either me or Alison preparing material and saying, this is how you do it. This is where are you stuck? How do you get support? Show up and ask your questions, or just kind of commiserate together. It's a live call to do that together.
Right.
And then we've got the 2 other calls. So there's a call on a Monday, which is more teaching and guidance. So we go through the modules in there. Alison's going to be leading the one next month, actually. And a focus there will be on ethics and helping your contractors do your case notes, I think.
How to do that, but not be their mom. Which is, I think, an ongoing thing that you want to be a leader. But again, let's talk boundaries, take on a lot of the stress and the weight of our responsibility. So that's the stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah. So those calls will be more guidance. And then the Friday call that happens a week and a half later is more kind of like Alison was saying, okay, so you said you were going to work on this, or we talked about this. How has that implemented into your group practice? And having more of a conversation. How do we support you? Do you need any other tools in order to make some of that stuff happen?
Right.
We also have Voxer, which is not one of Alison's favorite apps.
Neurodiversity. I'm going to work really hard to get back on Voxer. It's just that sound triggers me. So I'm going to work on that. That's my plan.
So that's a place where in between our calls, people are jumping in there and saying, hey, this happened today. How would you handle this? Or I just really need to know that I'm not alone in that. It is also problem solving. We've had conversations about, hey, I found this really great office. Should I take it? And so we're chatting in there in between. So that's another way of getting support through here as well.
Yeah, I think it's a piece of and again, this is why I want to prioritize getting back on it, because we know how quickly things move in the ownership piece, and just to get answers if you need them quickly, and know that you're not waiting for another call or waiting for the next opportunity to put your hand up, because we want to be really responsive. And again, when I say we, I mean the collective we, the group. And that's the beauty of the Voxer connection. It's not just, Lisa or me, it's everyone weighing in on things that's available. And that's the other piece. You're not going to be available all the time, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to think of what else we wanted to make sure we talked about here. I think at the core of it is just both of our hearts for a couple of different things, like keeping it real, and not promising shiny not promising shiny object syndromes, but really if
it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Yeah. And I think that's for Lisa and I, we've, on our own separate journeys, not even just as therapists, as humans, you get sucked into things where there are a lot of really big, wonderful promises. And GPOs that are gravitating to the work that we want to do are going to be people that are real and probably have made mistakes, but also are have that healthy degree of skepticism, meaning that there's no cookie cutter, one size fits all. There may be things that we're presenting in content that you're like, yeah, I figured that out 3 years ago. If I get to look at it, I will, but if not, that's not high on my priority list. We don't want people to feel like they're missing out. You'll be able to be selective on what information you digest and how you digest it. Personally, for me, a really big value was not, and I, as a presenter, and I teach in post-secondary, I want to bring people value and information, but I also know when I'm on the other side, I get easily overwhelmed because I'm getting behind in the volume of information, and I get FOMO, and I just get really okay, I'm just going to throw in the towel because I'm already too far behind. And you end up not being present. You end up missing out on things. We want to be able to provide, like Lisa said, various ways to get the information, whether Lisa said, I create resources. That is my brain dump. That's what I do. I put things in boxes on a Canva document. Canva is my hobby as much as I wish it wasn't. And that's how I make sense of it. Some of you that'll resonate. Others like, why do I have more paper? We want it to be able to be digestible through the learning styles, right? Visual, auditory, so that you feel connected but not overwhelmed by what's in front of you. Plus, if something's not relevant to you today, but in 6 months from now, you say, oh, I think they talked about that back in October, you're going to be able to go and look it up and still ask questions about it.
Yeah. I would say at the core of it, our values are helping you grow as a leader, as the CEO of your business, to feel like you aren't alone, to have the confidence to make some of the decisions that you need to make, have some of the difficult conversations you need to make, and then have community within that, and to know that you're not alone. So we're looking forward to reshaping and really creating something that has value for Canadian group practice owners. Continuing to create. It's already created in a lot of ways, right, but adding the value. And would love to have you come and join us. There is a link in the show notes to explore that a bit more. If you wanted to have a conversation too, we can have a consultation to see if this is a good fit for you.
Lisa, one other thing I think we wanted to point out. I'm in Ontario.
Yes.
Lisa is in BC. So if we get the need and the desire, we will be able to be a little more adaptable to time zones for each of the 2 time zones, because as we know, like those of us in Ontario, don't want to necessarily do things in the evening. That would be afternoon for BC and vice versa. So bear that in mind. If you're on, I know the Western people call us the East. I don't see Ontario as the East Coast. At the East, but apparently we are. So we want to be able to be in the time zones and maritime folks. I mean, it's just, I think that will open up a world of opportunity for people being able to fit it into their busy schedules, but not be putting it in at 5 a.m. or 9 p.m.
Yeah. That, and also a lot of differences between the East, Ontario, and BC, and how the college operates and all of that. So
colleges, and that's the other piece too. I'm a social worker, so I'm in the Ontario College of Social Work. I'm familiar with CRPO in Ontario. So just, I think, to bring a different breadth of knowledge from across the country is going to be really helpful.
Yeah. And that applies here too with the podcast. So the realism, the support, and just helping you create boundaries and systems, have a sense of community, and creating confidence for you and in you as a leader of your group practice. So we also know your time is valuable. So
I'm going to say it, the name is not being overwhelming. Let's
wrap it up. And we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks.
Thanks for hanging out with me on Empowered to Lead, the therapist practice. If you're ready for deeper support, I'd love to see you inside the Group Practice Connection, my monthly membership where Canadian therapists like you get coaching, community, and the tools to build a business that actually supports your life. You can check it out at grouppracticenetwork.ca. We're building something great here, and I'm so glad you're a part of it.
This is Michelle Abraham, and we are honored to have Lisa Catallo's Empowered to Lead podcast on our High Vibe Podcast Network. For more shows like hers and to grab your free gift from the gift fold, head on over to highvibepodcastnetwork.com.